Okay, I'd like to call the Audit Committee meeting for the month of September to order, please. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Can I get a motion, please?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any contrary? Okay. What is this?
Karen, if you can close the door, please, Karen.
Okay, the first thing is the work plan. There's no audit committee meeting for October. Next one is scheduled for November the 15th. The agenda will include the annual review of the audit committee charter, a review of the information system security and controls by the agencies, CIOs, and a briefing from Deloitte on their approach to the 2010 year-end audits. In addition, Deloitte will also give us an update on the BSC workflow review, which we hired them to do back some time ago. The only other thing to keep in mind is October 29th. We have the audit committee continuing professional education. It's going to start 9 in the morning till 2. I think it's important because this committee has some other very serious responsibilities outside of what's normal for our committees. Okay, we have our independent accountants review report for the quarter ending June 30th. David?
You can get us out of here by 3:15. Will only increase my high regard for you. My already high regard for you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have completed our review for the financial statements of the MTA for the quarter ended June 30, 2010. Of course, a review doesn't encompass an audit. It basically consists of procedures that are based upon discussions with management, a lot of analytical analysis around the financial statements and changes in the financial statements and changes that we would foresee in the financial statements given our understanding of the authority and its activities. Based upon those procedures that we performed, we are in the process of issuing our review on those financials, our review report on those financial statements pending approval from the audit committee. There were no material changes in accounting principles that were made during the quarter. As you know, there was a change that was made in the previous quarter regarding the accounting for derivative financial instruments. We have continued to monitor the MTA's activities there and are pleased with the activities around that. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Dave?
Only the question that was mentioned somewhere in here, and I forgot where, in terms of reviewing the pension fund plan and the assumptions on rate of return on the pension funds. Could you bring me up to date on where we are or what happened there?
Well, by the way, we have received. Actually, there is an update that's performed by the actuary of the of their valuation for the pension plans. We involve our guys. We have independent actuaries that work with us, who basically review the work of your actuaries. There's a series of discussions that goes on. There's some, as always with actuaries, there's a lot of discussion. and based upon the analysis that our guys have concluded, that they have concluded that the assumptions used in the preparation of the actuarial report for the MTA that's included in your financial statements are appropriate.
Okay. And let's get back to FERC, because I think that there was something brought up earlier today, that there was some concern about the lowering of the earnings determination going forward.
There has been a lot of discussion around that.
Is the current rate of return still anticipated
It's
at 8%? It hasn't changed?
It hasn't changed, and it's consistent. By the way, it's consistent with most, but there has been a good bit of discussions on a go-forward basis whether or not that continues to be appropriate.
But in today's world, it seems to me that's an open item.
It is, and we continue to monitor it. And actually, they basically go through. You use a 5-year moving market average. So, what happens today has a bit of a tail before it impacts you. So they continue to look at that, and they actually look at our guys review your past performance compared to that assumption compared to what they would expect a little bit about into the future. But so far, I mean, they're okay with where the assumption is, but there's an agreement to continue to monitor it.
Yeah, but as you say, most municipal plans have not changed, but the last 10 years would tell you that some serious consideration or reconsideration should be given to the rate of return.
By the way, we've had lots of discussions with that, and you're right.
Sure.
And there's a little, by the way, that's a little bit where the private sector diverges from the public sector. Private sector those assumptions tend to be, they're a little more regulated, and they're actually they're substantially less than the public sector plans. But by the way, what the MTA is doing is not unique to the MTA.
I understand that, but I think it deserves revisiting.
And I think we're expecting that it will be, I believe we're expecting that it will be revisited. The state controller has announced that he is, for the plans that he has control of, reducing the actuarial assumption from 8% to 7.5%. That's the position he's taken. With him taking that position, we know that that's going to affect, certain of our plan, the Neisler's plan, and we think that our actuaries should probably consider that in looking at our DB plan and other plans. We control what the city's actuary does with regard to Neisler's. We'll wait to be seen, but we recognize the movement kind of that's happening in the industry, recognizing investment returns that are available today versus, the assumptions. So we are expecting that will be considered by the actuary and then discussed.
Yeah, one of the things that's different in the public sector, to be quite honest, in the private sector, anticipating the future is not allowed. Right? So it's basically...
Can we use the word realism?
In the public sector, the accounting principles allow you to anticipate the future a bit. And that's kind of what gets into the conceptual reasons for the difference in the assumptions.
Okay, any other questions? Can I get a motion to pass the quarterly report on so it can be published?
Moved.
All in favor? Carried. Okay.
Could we bring David to the public hearings so that when people ask us about those 2 sets of books and why no one audits us, we could point to him? Getting a little tired of hearing that drivel.
Well, one of the things, in light of that, one of the things that you might do just for us is the difference between a forensic audit and the audit you do. Because there is a difference.
A forensic audit has a different threshold.
Don't know that and don't care.
That's right.
I mean, it's a materiality threshold, to be quite honest with you, and it's a level of detail that somebody's focused on. It's way more detailed. And it generally is looking at a particular circumstance. It's looking at generally an allegation or a theory based upon something, and it's looking into the details of that. But it's basically a transaction-by-transaction analysis of a circumstance. Whereas an audit is based upon a materiality for the entity as a whole. And what, generally the view is that you establish the materiality standard, and we audit to that. So whatever you conclude would be something that would be meaningful or material to a user of the financial statements, that's how you determine how to apply your accounting. But a forensic, virtually there's no materiality. Everything is an issue. And it's more very factual based, not very many assumptions go into the process. It's answering generally a yes or no question.
Because isn't the comptroller going to do a forensic audit on overtime?
Oh, they've been spending a lot of time with me on that. You guys know about it. I mean, they basically, really.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the reappointment of our external auditors. As you can read here, it's the second year of a 7-year contract, and the agreed upon cost for 2010 is $1,468,800. If you remember when we did this, it's at a substantial savings from when we had more than one accounting firm in here. So I'd like a motion to appoint the light to move forward with the 2010 year-end audit.
Moved.
Second? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Now, I think each of you were provided with a copy of the report that was prepared by Mike for me when he indicated what had happened or what had been done in the 12-month period ending July 2010 for the year ended July 2010. And it's pretty comprehensive. I think Mike did a good job. It's a separate... Does anybody have any questions or comments? Like I say, it was pretty well done, pretty all-inclusive. If not, we need a motion to accept the report as submitted. Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay.
So you're now doing transit, Long Island Bus, and MTA, correct?
Doing everything.
Wait, anything else?
Next meeting November?
Yeah, next meeting is in November, but we'll see you all on October the 29th.
Friday.
Need a motion, then we'll see you Wednesday.
But
Sure, I'll say.
what are we going to be taught or told or informed of on October 29th? What is
The one, I don't know.
Explain to me why we should all be there.
Well,
Go ahead. The audit committee has some other responsibilities than other committees.
Excuse me, what does that mean, other responsibilities?
Well, we have a larger responsibility because we're required to have a makeup of a certain caliber.
There's a short answer.
David could take this.
It's required under the Public Authorities Accountability Act.
Required under the Public Authorities Law. So the Senate made us do it.
And it's the best practice of audit committees of large companies like this. And what it'll do is reclaim you with governance issues and your fiduciary responsibility as an audit committee. I mean, when Jim says that, he's right. You have, you are the eyes and ears of the company. You monitor our external auditors and our finances, so you should get periodic training.
But if you can add 2 and 2, that doesn't count?
It's very helpful and a great start.
Does this count, if there are going to be more than 5 of us present, will that be an open meetings situation?
We're 5 here now. It's always going to be open.
I wonder if any reporters will show up to get educated.
Who's the group that's teaching?
The Institute of Internal Auditors is teaching it. They provide such training. They're the governing body over the practice of internal auditing. We researched it. We went through procurement for firms that would provide such training, and that's one of two people that we found. Other than that, you had to go with the external auditors, and they really don't have too many formalized programs as well.
I know David teaches a few, or did at one time. So,
What'd you say, Mark?
I hope they have that beer.
He said it should be good. Should be good.
Maybe they have that beer.
But I'm an auditor.
It's like the board books in that room, so we can get a full board agendas in that room after this.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second? Any opposed? Carried.